Hi everyone, it's Fitz with your daily delivery. Hope you're doing well. I am great. Back a little bit rested after Big 12 Media Days, but here we go with another daily delivery and the story of how Chris Klieman has evolved as a head football coach since arriving at Kansas State. First, your reminder, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit the thumbs up if you like the video and go ahead and leave a comment. Talk to me. Talk to me, people. Talk to me. On with the DD. You know, on a recent edition of the Life of Fitz podcast, I was honored to talk to legendary coach Bill Snyder, and we talked about the evolution of his offensive philosophy at K-State. Younger fans don't know this about Bill Snyder, but when he arrived in Manhattan, he was running 5 wide receivers and throwing the ball all over the field, creating space with the passing game. Eventually, he created space with a quarterback run game and a more complex running game, but he admitted that they did that in the early years because they simply didn't have the talent to compete. So that's how they balanced the tables. And eventually, the quarterback run game became the primary focus of the offense because that, too, had its own impact on what the other team was doing. Chris Klieman, this past week at Big 12 Media Days, mentioned that he never thought he would come to K-State and change so many of the philosophies that helped him win 4 out of 5 years, a national championship at North Dakota State at the FCS level. But it didn't take him long to realize what they did at NDSU didn't quite translate to the Big 12. A different style of football, and honestly, they weren't getting the elite athletes that they got at NDSU compared to the competition. They couldn't just outman people at the point of attack. So they had to get more creative. And they went to more of a sped-up offense, and they found it greatly effective. And a few years ago, the defensive coach that Chris Klieman is finally admitted that what they were doing defensively wasn't working. So he went back to the books, and he learned from someone, who he still won't disclose, about the 3-man front, about the type of defense they're running right now at Kansas State. It puts more speed on the field, and it does put a great deal of emphasis on smaller guys making big physical tackles. But it's worked. And Joe Klanderman, his defensive coordinator, and him have turned it into a really effective defense. And I say that as a guy who generally doesn't like 3-man fronts. And his offense, well, it continues to evolve in the hands of his new offensive coordinator, Colin Klein. He's been at the job a few years, but making that change at offensive coordinator was also another big move by a guy who kind of came to K-State thinking what he did there would work here. He's right, football is football, but football needs to evolve. Coaches need to evolve with that. And Chris Klieman's doing it at K-State, and because of that, a lot of people now regard him as the best coach in the Big 12 Conference.